And welcome back to another daily devotion. I am Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Monday, May 13th of 2024. Today we're going to start the third chapter of the book of Philippians, and before we do, I want to apologize. I've got a cold that has come on in the last day or so, and so deal with my voice being a little bit raspy, I guess, and hopefully we can get through this study before it dies off on me. We are in chapter 3. We're going to start with, or do 6 verses today. Just jump into the first 6 verses. Part of this is really Paul just laying out his credentials and saying, this is why you need to listen to me, guys and gals. And the first 3 verses really are what we want to talk about. But the rest of it's all, the other 3 are necessary too. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? Chapter 3 in book of Philippians, verses 1 to 6. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you is not irksome to me and is safe for you. Look out for the dogs, look out for the evil workers, look out for those who mutilate the flesh, for we are the true circumcision, who worship God in spirit and glory in Christ Jesus, and put no confidence in the flesh. Though I myself have reason for confidence in the flesh also. If any other man thinks he has reason for confidence in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew born of Hebrews, as to the law, Pharisee, as to zeal, a persecutor of the church, as to righteousness under the law, blameless. Well, Paul has a sterling credentials there. His heritage is bar none. He is par excellence, as we should say, I guess. Paul is a Jew of the Jewish nation. But let's go back up there. Finally, that denotes he's changing. We've changed directions. He's going to start to wrap up this letter, even though we still have another chapter. We've got chapter 4 yet. So Paul's kind of that way, kind of like me. Well, one more thing, and then we keep going. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord. Again, that word, rejoice, that rejoicing. He just wants them to remember that no matter what under circumstances they find themselves, he's in prison, as we've said all throughout this study. Even there, you are rejoicing in the Lord. Find your joy. It's all on you. You're about as happy as you want to be. That's in life. That's one of the things you have to remember. To write the same things, he says. So he is repeating something, and some scholars think that Paul is repeating some things he wrote to them in a previous letter here. To you is not irksome to me. Some think that might be better translated as like doesn't slow me down, doesn't cause me problems, and is safe for you, secure or stabilize. So it doesn't slow me down, and it's to secure or to stabilize you. It's to your benefit that we talk about these things. Look out for the dogs. Oh boy, that's harsh language. And Paul can be harsh. Remember in Galatians, he puts curses on people, and those that might be against him, curse those guys, and curse himself if he preaches a different gospel. We talked about that the other day, I think. Galatians, my favorite letter. I digress. But at any rate, look out for the dogs. He's got the same problem he has in Galatia, same problem he has everywhere. These Jewish people, the Judaizers, as they call them, and people debate about who they are. I think I know who they are because in Galatians he says from the men from James. I think they're people sent by James the Just, Jesus' brother, from Jerusalem, to try to convince Paul that they really need to be a little more Jewish, because there's this big debate. Well, let's read the rest of this before I get too far into that, shall we? Look out for the dogs, look out for the evil workers, look out for those who mutilate the flesh. Okay, now, back to that. The question always was with Paul, how Jewish do you have to be? Do you have to be a Christian? Because Christianity is just the newest sect of Judaism. It's not yet, by no means is it yet. It's a distinct religion. It is simply the newest sect in Judaism. And at the time of Jesus, I don't know if I mentioned it in this study, there were about 36 different sects of Judaism. Excuse me. And so they're just the newest guys on the block. And the question was, Do you have to be completely a Jew, or can you be a Christian, a Christ follower, and not accept, fall under all the other precepts of Judaism, which he's talking here, but he's not coming right out necessarily. Well, he does, he says, for we are the true circumcision. You talk about circumcision, and that always was a sticky problem, a sticky subject for those that are converting. Here in Philippi, it would be mostly Greek, mostly Gentiles, so they wouldn't be circumcised. And there are adult men. Don't get too particularly excited about the idea of circumcision for obvious reasons, not getting too graphic or too detailed or too whatever, too blunt perhaps. So they're hesitant. So that's why you always had a lot of God-fearers in that kind of the people that were going to the synagogues that were God-fearers, might even go to the temple in Israel, in Jerusalem before it was destroyed in 70. And it's not destroyed yet here. This letter's not, the temple still exists when this letter is written. So definitely Judaism has not broken away, or Christianity has not broken away from Judaism, because that doesn't happen until after the temple's gone. So when this letter is written, the temple is still very much in existence. It's still going concern, as they say. But these men are coming around, and if they're coming from James, that means it's probably before 63 too. I hadn't thought about that. But they probably kept going afterwards. What am I saying? But nonetheless, I digress as I'm going on and on today. Paul was always in contention with these guys that wanted a truer, that wanted this new sect to be truer to Judaism than Paul's vision was and what Paul saw. Paul's idea was that faith in Christ alone is all that matters. We don't need all of these other precepts of Judaism, all these other trappings that we're breaking from that, and we're creating a new thing. That's where we're at with Paul. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, because all of a sudden my head is starting to get a tickle. I apologize for my cold. Have a blessed day. Be a blessing to someone today. Tell them about Jesus. We don't need to be Jewish to be Christians. That's where it all ended up at. Paul's saying you don't need to do these things. These were things that we've abandoned. These are things that we took care of at the Jerusalem Council, after all, but there was apparently some disagreement or unclarity, I should say, misinterpretation, maybe is a better word, of just exactly what came out of the Jerusalem Council, because this would have been after the council, long after it. Have a blessed day. Be a blessing to someone today. Talk to them about Jesus. God bless.